Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have a lot to talk about, and I respectfully ask everyone, or I am going to conduct this segment with all due respect to people who might disagree with me or people who might believe there's some kind of preordained plan because a message board says so, because people on the message board and some online community are connected to President Trump, and President Trump wants to communicate with people in this manner, yet he didn't do so during 2016 and still won. I'm going to convey my thoughts in the most respectful manner possible, because I know that there's a lot of great, awesome, wonderful people who, want to believe something. And so to my moderators, if you see any back and forth or arguments between, people that believe in message boards or Q or whatever, and people who are trying to say, hey, you know what, just be on the lookout, because what I don't want is for this segment or for my voice or for this latest revelation to kind of, I guess, insult people or get people to feel angry or upset. There's so much disinformation. There's so much frustration. There's so much one-sided politics. There's a Muller probe based on absolutely nothing, and there's no special counsel, even though there's a litany of pay-to-play crimes with Clinton, and she transferred top secret intelligence outside of the United States government. That's what I keep telling. That is a crime. That's not, oh, you can't prove it. That's an absolute crime. Okay, an absolute crime. And then you can work your way from there. So there's a Fox News segment. It is below. It is with Mark. This is just a little, hours back. This is actually from December 3rd, but people are now starting to look at it. And it's, did John Huber ignore complaints from Clinton whistleblowers? Mark Meadows is on there saying not only, now ladies and gentlemen, this is important, not only did John Huber ignore whistleblowers, the whistleblower from the Clinton Foundation, the one that was just raided, but he didn't even meet, Mark Meadows has been investigating this for the past 2 years. He's never really met anyone else in Congress like Mark Meadows or Jim Jordan. So nobody really has met John Huber, number one. Number two, well, the main thing, number one, is that he did not acknowledge the whistleblower that had the goods on Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation. So the whistleblower, and he alludes to more whistleblowers, went to Huber, and he did absolutely nothing, because almost certainly he was there to do absolutely nothing. Sessions was an abomination. Even I thought Sessions could hopefully do something, but then I realized, oh my God, this guy is there to do nothing. He recused himself, and his only goal was to become Attorney General. That's really his only goal in life. What happened was, with Sessions, they pulled a number on Trump. We didn't know that the Steele dossier was purchased by Hillary Clinton at the time. We didn't know that there would be 2 years of a witch hunt with no evidence at all produced. We didn't know that Mueller would eventually be created from James Comey's memos, classified leaky memos that he leaked. So we didn't know all of these things. Sessions becomes Attorney General after promising to recuse himself. Then, if you remember from the Mueller probe, then Rod Rosenstein tells Trump to fire Comey. Trump fires Comey. And then immediately after firing Comey, he says, "Oh, you fired Comey. We need the Mueller probe." It's like, dude, you just told me to fire Comey. What are you doing? So now Trump is blindsided by Rosenstein, by Sessions, who helped appoint Rosenstein, because when Trump was losing it on Twitter, it was like, Rosenstein's not even my guy. It was Sessions' guy, for goodness sakes. So we have a situation here where it's a complete cluster, you know what? And this, I mean, I guess I could play the audio, but I'd rather you watch the video yourself. It's Mark Meadows. Did John Huber ignore complaints from Clinton whistleblowers? He says yes, Clinton ignored complaints. John Huber is nowhere to be found in terms of working with Republicans. And also, really, the main thing is this. Jeff Sessions and John Huber especially, well, Sessions especially and John Huber, because Huber could have gone and said, hey, we need a special counsel. How do you not? And this is a question for all the people who believe, well, you don't have to answer it, but who believe there's some preordained, trust the plan, all this stuff. How do you not implement a special counsel? Okay. There are no tribunals. There are no military tribunals and all of these things. It ain't happening. What will happen eventually is Clinton will get indicted. But how it happens and when it happens, I have no clue. Like, I have the pulse of what's going on. I'm not perfect. I've been right more often than I've been wrong. But, like, who I am. That's the point. And that's the thing. Like, I've always stated, you got to know who the person is. And you also then have to tell yourself that taking too great a leap of logic lends you to being duped. The same thing happened with, like, there are these moments, and I've noticed this on the conservative side. And see, liberals, they justify their conspiracy theories through government and media. Conservatives don't have that luxury. So they have to, their smoke, okay, pizza. No, that whole thing, yeah, even if there of course there are crimes, but that whole thing was used to discredit Trump supporters and discredit conservatives. Now this thing is used to discredit, because you're making, like, it's kind of like the seance, the whole Harry Houdini and the seances, and you're making leaps of logic that don't correlate to reality. The reality is that Clinton is a criminal. So when I say that Clinton will eventually get indicted, it's not too much of a leap of logic. I don't know when, I don't know how exactly, but there should have been a special counsel. Hopefully there will be with Matthew Whitaker, or he'll go straight to the indictments. December 5th, John Huber is going to speak. And, it's like, hopefully he doesn't. At this point right now, it's damage control. It's like a quarterback who, if you have a quarterback in football and your quarterback you have a great defense and a great running game, but your quarterback is not that great, all you need him to do is just not mess up. Don't throw a pick. Just don't mess up. Just hand the ball, just throw short passes, and just don't lose the game. Let everyone else do your job for you. So at this point right now, John Huber, after doing nothing for 2 years, should simply make sure that he doesn't say anything that would hurt future investigations. If he comes out and says, "Oh yeah, well we didn't find anything," because Democrats are probably going to ask him, "Well, how come you didn't, start a special counsel?" Or that might be. Is there evidence? They'll say, "Well, is there evidence of wrongdoing?" And if he says, "Well, we haven't found any clear-cut evidence," they're going to pounce on that. Even if he says, "We've been investigating and there's many abnormalities," but if there's one sentence in there, the media is going to just take that, pull it out of take it out of context, and then when Trump tries to implement something, they'll say, "Oh well, John Huber said it." So at this point right now, look, it is what it is. It's like he's going to testify. He's going to testify. Oh, it's postponed. So that's right. Yesterday I read it's postponed. So when is it postponed to? That's right, because of the funeral. The meeting has been postponed for a later date. So we don't really, it doesn't say here when. Hold on. It is unclear when a new hearing will be scheduled. Well, there you go. Honestly, I'd rather not hear from the guy. I mean, please just have it postponed until never. Okay? Because the guy was a joke, just like Sessions. And I don't want to I'm not in a rivalry. I don't dislike. I'm not trying to the whole Sessions and the whole Sessions, Huber and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Yes, I get it. I get it. But at the same time, you gotta look at reality. Accept reality. Accept. I accept. I don't know when Clinton will get indicted. Accept reality. I mean, at a certain point, you cannot continue. You cannot continue to. Here's. Let's just go ahead. Let's listen to this right here. This is Mark Meadows. If you don't believe me, because one person's like, "You're losing it, HA." Really? Why? Because I don't believe a message board? Because I don't believe, that this letter is speaking through us, speaking to millions. Trump is speaking through a message board to millions of people. Why would he do that? That makes no sense. It never made any sense. But here's Mark Meadows. If you don't believe me, just listen to Mark Meadows. And you can also, I mean, it's below. Did John Huber ignore complaints from Clinton whistleblowers? This is all you need to know about Sessions and military tribunals and all of these things and message boards. This is all you need to know. Here's Mark Meadows, and it's a Fox Business. It's a Fox Business link. You can listen to you can watch the whole segment, but here it is.
At a much better rate than the Muller witch hunt.
Well, obviously today we sent a letter. If you'll recall, Lou, and some of your viewers will recall, many months ago, we called for a special prosecutor and said, listen, if we're going to have a special prosecutor to look into President Trump, then we need a special prosecutor to look into the Clinton email server issue, the Clinton Foundation. And yet what I found just recently, is we have some whistleblowers that gave information to John Huber over 8 months ago. And the first contact that they received was last Friday, a phone call around 2:00.
Wait a second. I'm the bad guy? I'm the bad guy for pointing this out? So before we continue, I'm the bad guy for pointing this out? Thank you, Ron. He gets whistleblower information 8 months ago. 8 months ago, Sessions and Huber, 8 months ago, and he calls the guy yesterday. Gosh, I have a lot on my plate. Let's listen to this again, and you can watch this. This is 1 minute into this whole thing. 58, actually 50. 42 seconds in. Lou Dobbs and Mark Meadows. Listen to this again. I'm not the bad guy here. The quote unquote bad guys are Sessions, Huber, and people who helped cover. Really, I mean, he's not even testifying anymore. He's like, thank God I don't have to testify. Honestly, thank God he's not testifying. My God Almighty, because he's not. He was there to placate Republicans. That's why I didn't really touch too much on John Huber, because I was like, oh no, it's if you're gonna do a special counsel, engage in a special counsel, then do it. Don't say, oh, we'll have special counsel light, and he can engage in a special counsel if he wants to. No, that was to Sessions made a point to say, oh yeah, well, I don't see the need for a special counsel. You either indict right away with public record evidence, which is she committed crimes. She transferred top secret intelligence outside the United States government onto a server. Case closed. Case closed. Matthew Whitaker already knows all of this stuff with the Clinton Foundation is tied to the server. The server exists because of the Clinton Foundation, but you don't have the email saying, "Oh, Uranium One, thank you so much. We're gonna sign off on the deal." What you have is a litany of pay-to-play schemes. Once you have that litany of pay-to-play schemes with an obvious pattern of criminal behavior, because it's an obvious money laundering scheme, at a certain point you don't need the smoking gun email, because you've had Hillary Clinton destroy evidence and the actual crime that nobody can say she didn't commit, the not only the mishandling, the transfer of top secret intelligence and special access program intelligence outside the United States government. So you start with that. All of this whole like, like I get that. I get the Uranium One issue might be the issue that takes them down. That's true, but it will stem from, or it will link directly to, the fact that she transferred top secret data outside the United States government. That's really what because there's no way around it. There's no way around it. So Margie Omby and Arctic Share. That's awesome. All right. So let's continue. So just listen to this again. I mean, it's like, I'm not trying to like be this wet blanket or negative person. I'm just trying to like, don't tell everyone don't be deceived by a frenzy or a movement or like some kind of belief system that's obviously like, the public record's enough. You don't need like the surreptitious behind the scenes belief that something's taking place. My belief in Clinton getting indicted is because she's a criminal and she's actually committed crimes that hurt national security, harm national security. I don't know when she's going to get indicted. I don't know how, but she's a sloppy criminal. Let's just listen again. Now, there's more to this. It's more than just John Huber didn't do anything with the whistleblower. If anything, Huber was worse for the whole thing, because he was there like saying, "Oh yeah, I'm here. Oh, you called whistleblower? Okay, I'll call you back 8 months later. Check this out."
We sent a letter. If you'll recall, Lou, and some of your viewers will recall, many months ago, we called for a special prosecutor and said, listen, if we're going to have a special prosecutor to look into President Trump, then we need a special prosecutor to look into the Clinton email server issue, the Clinton Foundation. And yet what I found just recently, is we have some whistleblowers that gave information to John Huber.
Whistleblowers that gave information to John Huber. Well, that's fantastic. What did John Huber the guy who's connected to the tribunals and all of these things and all. What did he do with it? Huh? What did he do?
Over 8 months ago, and the first contact that they received was last Friday, a phone call around 2 o'clock.
He calls on a 2 o'clock on a Friday. I mean, people are busy at 2 on Friday. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're at a desk in an office, you're like, kind of like, oh, it's 2 on Friday. Oh, let's put it on cruise control. He calls 2 on a Friday. He should have just called Saturday morning. People would have been more attentive. The guy waits 8 months. Hello. And he's not even testifying. So it's like, it's just like comedic. This is hilarious. I mean, it doesn't even have the good decency to call up, like, he calls up at 2 on a Friday. You couldn't call up, like, at least if you're going to wait for Friday, you couldn't call at 10 a.m. 8 months later. You got to call at 2. So this is like adding insult to injury here. All right. So he waits 8 months and then he calls in the afternoon on a Friday. All right. So there you go. I mean, it's kind of hilarious. It's kind of funny, but at the same time, this is good because you don't need. You can derive enthusiasm. You can derive research skills by Google. This is okay. Journalists don't even Google, like they don't know how to Google nowadays. You simply type in relevant information. Yeah, I was right with Bernie, and you know what? I at least got the Senate, but at least I can admit I'm wrong. I was right about Clinton. I was right about Sessions leaving. I was right about Muller. I was right about Russia. I was right about Tony Podesta eventually getting caught within the Mueller probe. I have the pulse of what's going on. But see, I'm not selling baloney. Like, I'm not saying, my friends, patriots, God loves you. In this Bible verse, I'm going to tell you, we're all in this together. Together we'll fight. We'll fight. Trump is speaking to us. No! He's not speaking to you, buddy. Trump is not speaking through a message board. Ain't happening. And anyway, Q was wrong about like 1,000 things. 1,000 things. Oh, well, that's not what he said. That's what other people said. That's the problem. If you're so open-ended, you get other people to say certain things that happen, other people to say certain things that don't happen, and then it's like this self-fulfilling prophecy. People believe what they want to believe. So, believe me, I'm a human being. So I have the pulse of what's going on more so than most other people. Definitely more so than a message board. If anything, the people behind that message board listen to me, to Styx, to others, because we pretty much have the pulse of what's going on. Styx more so than anyone on the internet. Styx Exenhammer has the pulse of what's going on more so than anyone on the internet. But I've been on this, like, this whole, like, the Clinton Foundation, the email server. I've been talking about it since 2015. Like, these dumb pundits, pundits on the left used to make fun of me. They still do. They try to, because they don't even think that Clinton, not only do they think that Clinton is, all powerful, they're okay with it, while at the same time pretending they don't essentially work for the Democratic National Committee. But anyway, that's not even it. Forget about the whistleblower for 8 months. Listen to this.
And I just find the lack of follow-up to be extremely curious at best and very troublesome at worst.
And in one instance, one of the whistleblowers actually the FBI moving straight ahead against him as if he did not have whistleblower protection. As a matter of fact, as if he weren't an American citizen by some of the accounts.
Well, there was reporting of that. That's actually a different whistleblower than the ones we have coming in before our committee here. And just right at a week now, we actually have the hearing set up for this week on the Clinton Foundation.
There is no plan because there hasn't been a plan implemented. There's no evidence that Trump colluded with Russia because he didn't, and there's no plan. Trump and the intelligence community and the good people at the CIA don't go through 4chan or message boards or 8chan or whatever. They don't do that. Why would they do that? Ask why. I'm sorry to be like confrontational to like people who, you know, believe, but why would they do that? Why would they communicate through a message board? Does it make any sense at all? Why would people within the intelligence community known to just gravitate towards power, known to cover up for Hillary Clinton, known to fabricate evidence so we get into Iraq and even Vietnam, these are like grandiose things. Why would they communicate through a message board to you or to me? Why? Ask yourself why. And if you want to believe in like something that like, you know, I get it. I understand because the media, the Democratic Party, the whole like late night, I get it. I understand. Nobody wants justice more than I do because I understand. When I was on the left, I saw how Bernie Sanders was cheated and I saw how Bernie became just part of the system, and maybe he always was. And I saw how the system works. I understand and I get it. You want to believe something. The same thing with the pizza thing right after the election. People want to believe something, and they want to believe that justice is going to happen. Here's a newsflash. I don't know if Clinton is ever going to get indicted, and I've always stated I could be wrong, but I believe, and I'm predicting that she will. Nobody knows. Nobody knows, but the evidence is overwhelming. Her power, her base of power has dwindled exponentially. Trump is growing in power, even though we can't really see it. We have Matthew Whitaker, you know, you have Gina Haspel, the CIA, all of these things. So you can see on the horizon that Clinton and people around her will eventually slip, or will eventually the evidence of prior grandiose crimes will lead to indictments. But you have no clue who's telling you these things. And I've been saying this for months. By the way, Roosevelt Media, thank you so very much for really wonderful segments. Roosevelt Media, thank you for the kind words as well. And I don't have anything against people who believe in this. It's just that, Christopher, Dems get very loud when nervous. They've been silent on Huber says a lot. I also think his testimony will be a dud. Yeah. I mean, you know, thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Christopher, very much. Yeah, I mean, you know, exactly. Thank you, Christopher. Yeah, they get very loud and they're silent. Exactly. That's a great point. My mind's like frazzled now. That's a great point. They get very loud when nervous. They write preemptive articles saying, well, you know what? If this happens, then you know. But like, again, like, thank you very much, Christopher. You made a wonderful point, and it's so true. Like, I have no problem with anyone. Like, I'm not dissing anyone. I'm cool with everyone. I have no problem with like pundits who talk about this, but U.S. Attorney from Little Rock is investigating, but that's public record knowledge. I'm not saying, look, Mr. Nicktown, this conversation is long overdue. Thanks. Mr. Nicktown, thank you very, very much. So Christopher, Mr. Nicktown, thank you very much. Like my whole thing, ladies and gentlemen, and this is out of respect. Look, I don't like. And by the way, big shout out again to Roosevelt Media for, you know, being a supporter of my voice and, you know, for the kind segments about me. Look, any pundit that's pumping like, you know, LMNOP, whatever letter, I'm not dissing anyone. I don't have a beef or disrespect towards anyone. I'm not calling out anyone by name. I don't have any problem with anyone. You know, I'm cool. You know, I can only give you my opinion, my viewpoint, and, you know, just tell people what I think. Argo One, thank you. I'm not trying to show anyone up. I'm not trying to insult people or demean anyone or make anyone feel bad about themselves or, you know, depressed over things. All I'm saying is that it is very, very difficult when it seems like the cards are stacked against us. And it seems like, I mean, Trump could wear underwear, and if it's made in Russia, then there's an investigation. But the reality is that 8 years of President Obama, you know, Trump has spent 2 years, and he by the way, he didn't even have, like, Trump has spent 2 years trying to wrestle control of the government away from Democrats and media, and he still had Jeff Flake, and he still had Paul Ryan, and he still had Corker, and he still had now he has Sass. He still has Sass and all these people. But let's continue. Listen to more of what Mark Meadows. Mark Meadows is like, I never even met Huber. He's like, I never even met Huber. There was this great story when I was a financial advisor. This great story. It's hilarious. I was talking to this lady once, and she was, you know, really great lady. She's from Eastern Europe, actually. And she talked like this. And she was talking about investing in Boston Chicken. How her prior financial advisor told her to invest in Boston Chicken. And she was like, and he told me to put money in Boston Chicken. Boston Chicken. Boston Chicken. And it kept going down. And I don't even like chicken. So it's kind of, because she was like, I don't even like chicken. So anyway, you had to be there. But let's continue with Mark Meadows. Fantastic.
A number of allegations, Lou, about improper use of 501c3 tax-exempt status, about misappropriation of funds. They're all allegations, but we need to get to the bottom of it. And literally, the whistleblowers have been doing patriotic duty. I look forward to learning more. We have
whistleblowers. How many? Because we've only heard of one that got raided by the feds. Thanks, Huber. Thanks, Huber, for waiting until 2 p.m. on a Friday. To add insult to injury, the guy waits eight months. He doesn't even have the good decency to call at 9 a.m. He doesn't have a good decency. People are at the water cooler at 2. Hey, what are you doing? I'm going out, you know, to the bar. Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. What are you doing this weekend? 2 p.m. People are in shutdown mode on a Friday. Nobody wants to just talk about special counsels on a Friday or whistleblowers. Can you imagine John Huber calling? Hi, this is John Huber. Hi. 8 months ago, you provided information at risk to your life regarding the Clinton Foundation. Yeah, it was January, right? 8 months ago. I know it's 2 p.m. on a Friday. I'm call. Hello, would you rather me not call? I don't have to call. I could have waited another 8 months. Yeah, I don't need that. I don't need that tone from you. So you know what? I'll call you next year. Okay? No. No. It's a Friday. You're upset I didn't call you for 8 months. I'll call you next year, 8 months, 16 months. We wait 16 months. Okay? No. You got upset because I'm waiting 8 months. I give you 16 months. How about 24 months? Huh? Okay, that's better. 32 months, sorry. We'll make it exponential. I'll talk to you later. I gotta go. I'm not even testifying. Bye. So it's like, how am I the bad guy in this? So it's like, how am I the bad guy? I'm not Sessions or Huber. Guy waits 8 months. He probably got into an argument with the guy on the phone. He's like, yeah, whistleblower. You waited 8 months. Oh, what? 16 months, 32 months, 64 months. Mr. Nicktown, thank you. All right. Let's continue. So this is Mark Meadows. If you don't believe me, at least believe Mark Meadows. The guy is in Congress, and he's part with Jim Jordan. He's part of So check out what else he says, which is hilarious. He's like, I didn't even meet Huber. I never even met the guy. He's stuck. He hasn't left Utah. John Huber's in Utah. He hasn't left Utah.
Thousands of documents that we're now reviewing, and hopefully the FBI will be following course on that as well.
Congressman, why don't the American people know more about John Huber? What he's focused on, how long he's been working, where he's working, what he's taking up. There is so little knowledge by comparison to the Muller. Now, you can argue that the Muller operation leaks like a sieve. Perhaps it's a positive, perhaps it's a negative. You tell me.
Well, I think you have two different standards. You have one that applies to President Donald Trump, and that means that every single bit of media attention goes to Bob Mueller and what he's doing. And yet I would suggest tonight that there's more evidence of wrongdoing potentially on the Clinton Foundation than what we have with regards to the Russia-Trump collusion, because there is no collusion, and yet we seem to focus on that. And you're right. He's from Utah. He's not a household name. I've never met him, and I'm actively involved in that.
I've never met him.
For going on 6 years now.
Mark Meadows has been part of trying to get. He's on the Clinton behind for 6 years. He's never even met. He's never even met Huber. So it's like, I don't know, it's like something big, important, grandiose, paradigm changing will happen next year. It has to, because I just don't see, if he doesn't flip the script, Trump, I am not confident on his reelection, and hopefully I'm wrong on that. He needs to flip the script, because he could find the cure for cancer, and then they would spin it to, oh my God, he's hurting pharmaceutical stocks. There's nothing that he can do that will be touted by the media. I mean, no one is talking about peace between North and South Korea. No one is talking about that. Oh, the rebuttal you get, well, nothing's really changed. Yes, a lot has changed. You have army commanders, military commanders shaking hands. You have, Kim Jong-un and Moon Jae-in shaking hands. North Korea is no longer threatening to destroy South Korea. This happened under Trump. Meanwhile, you have Macron. This guy is hilarious. He's like, what you need to do is this. Don't you know? Let me explain to you. Let me give you everything you need to know about nationalism and populism. Trumpy. You have a lot to learn from me. Oh, oopsie. 4 days of craziness. It's just like the French Revolution. Now Macron is like, Tina Bobina. Mueller is the insurance policy. It's true. That's true. That's true. That was what Strzok stated. I mean, it's like, what more do you need? We already know that we already know that that Peter Strzok, that Peter Strzok literally is like, yeah, we hate Trump, we're going to stop him. And Democrats are like, what? There's nothing there. William D. Campbell, the whistleblower, is like, yeah, this is bad. He's like, well, the Democrats are like, oh, where's your proof? It's just your opinion. They purchased the Steele dossier. I was talking to my buddy yesterday, and this is the big problem. This is one of the reasons why Trump has to flip the script. I kept talking to him about CrowdStrike. He's like, well, I don't know anything about CrowdStrike, but I know that Trump worked with Russia. There you go. They don't. The average Democrat doesn't know or care about the Steele dossier. They care only about what they want to hear.
So how do we explain the bizarre, absurd...
I love Lou Dobbs also. Like, Lou Dobbs is great because he's just this like, good man trying to find out what's going on. Like, I just don't get it. 8 months? What was he doing for 8 months? Was he going to wait 16 months? What? But I thought that he was appointed to actually do something. And where was Sessions in all of this? What is going on here?
Farcical nature of these special counsels, because on whichever side of the thing you're on, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, this is idiotic. You've got a special counsel who, with a foundation of almost a year of FBI investigation, has not been able to produce a scintilla of evidence on collusion and continues to take up 12 Russian entities, individuals who will never be brought to justice or have any accounting in our judicial system. And, the next thing we know, late night phone calls with Roger Stone with the president. This is a kind of idiotic nonsense.
Thank you. Real news now. Thank you.
Is, at least boiling over or leaked on purpose from the special counsel.
Come on, Lou Dobbs, enough.
You've got 2.5 years of an investigation, Lou, that really has produced nothing. Now, we want to say, well, there have been people indicted and they've lied to the FBI and this and that. But even some of those charges, and we're going to have a sentencing, I believe, of Mr. Flynn, General Flynn, here in the coming days. But even with all of that, what they do is they leak out just enough information, or they put out enough of a press statement, or indict this person, like you say, 12 Russians that'll never be brought to justice, just enough to feed the narrative to keep it going. And I think the American people are tired of it. I know that I believe that they need to end this Mueller witch hunt. And they need to make sure that what happens is we return this democracy back to the people and let them decide for themselves. Right?
So, I mean, Mueller is not going to... Mueller is funded through... Mueller is funded through 2019. EV, press... EV, thank you. EV, thank you, EV. Thank you, EV. Thank you. Mueller's budget is funded through Mueller funded through 2019. Hold on 1 second. Oh my God. Trump budget funds Mueller probe through fiscal 2019. through fiscal 2000. Oh, okay, through 2008. But 2019. So, a spending report released in December, he's spending like millions and millions and millions of dollars. Okay, so it's about 10 million per year on average. That's what this says, probably more. So no. So it's September 30th, 2019. So it's funded through September 30th, 2019, at least. So it's not ending. They're not ending anytime soon with the Mueller probe. Thank you, Frank Lesnar. Thank you. So why huge expansion of Guantanamo, building barracks like that before? Denmark, thank you. I love Denmark. I love Denmark, Frank. Thank you so very much, Frank, for watching. Love Denmark and its place in history, and it's just a beautiful country with beautiful people. And Frank Lesnar, thank you so very much. Well, I mean, there are many things that take place that one could say, is a positive for this to happen or that to happen. We don't know, though. We don't know. What we do know are the crimes committed. Crimes have been committed, and it's just a matter of political will. It's a matter of Trump flipping the script. You know what they do, Frank? My friends who are Democrats, they say to me, "Hey, Che, what's stopping Trump? He has the government. What's stopping him?" Well, they don't realize that it's taken a long time to rip the government away. Thank you, Jonathan. Ditka's Bears too. Sorry, bro. No one would have beaten Trump in 2016 or 2020. Well, I hope not 2020. You could very well be right about 2016. He might well have defeated Bernie. I think at that point, right, at that point in history, Bernie wouldn't have lost the swing states because it would have been populism versus populism. But I'm glad my Ditka's Bears, the Bears, Ditka's Bears 22. I thank God Trump is. Thank God Trump is president, because if Democrats said, "Oh yeah, you know what, intervene in this country," Bernie would have done it. I think Bernie would have had a hard time because the media would have been against Bernie also. Oh, crazy Eddie, I agree with you. He still has not. Trump has not ripped the government away yet. Ripped loyalists away. So he's through fiscal 2019. So not giving up. Ladies and gentlemen, like it's not like, this is not like I said, this is no disrespect to anyone. It's no disrespect to anyone, but at a certain point, if for example, like, I understand the sense of community, I understand the sense of belonging, I understand the hope that people will, that goodness prevails, but Remnant 088. Sending this to keep the only one keeping us sane in this corrupt world on air. Please, HA, make sure to keep talking. Remnant 0888. Thank you so very much. That means a great deal to me. Very, very kind of you for the kind words. Thank you. And I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Remnant 088. And thank you, Ditka's Bears. The Bears. Remnant 0888. Thank you very much. Ditka's Bears, I will say this. The 85 Bears have to be my favorite. If I had a favorite football team of, like, pick a year and a team, it would have to be the 85 Bears. I mean, they had a rap album. Other teams had rap albums too, but Walter Payton is one of the great, like, if not the greatest, along with Jim Brown. You know, I mean, that defense was insane defense. And the offense wasn't bad. Like, Jim McMahon was a good quarterback. You know, it's not like, you know, that he wasn't, you know, a quarterback who could do things. He could do a lot of things. So, I mean, that team was just amazing. The fridge, that's right. So, yeah, the Niners had great teams. Dallas had great teams. Yeah. So, that's true. That's true. I think that when you, like, on those, like, you know, I haven't played video games in a while, but, like, you always pick, like, I love, like, football games, the NFL games. You could pick, like, the 85 Bears versus, you know. That's right. Oh, Tommy, what? 85 Bears against 78 Steelers. Steelers by 3. Well, that's true. You know, the Steelers had a great defense and a great running game and another good quarterback. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. Franco Harris. So, yeah, this is no disrespect to anybody. I hope that nobody's taking this in a disrespectful manner, because that was not my intent at all. My intent is simply because you got to understand something. You don't need, nobody needs any help or motivation. You have all the motivation you need. You simply, as public record knowledge is enough. Public record knowledge is enough to where you don't even really need, you don't need belief that something's about to take place, because all of these actors, these wonderful, wonderful people behind the scenes, care about you and appreciate you. Let's put it this way, ladies and gentlemen. America's intelligence community, or the American government, exists to keep the country prosperous. But at the same time, they don't really care about individuals, which is why there's an emphasis on the individual among conservatives that I like. See, the whole thing with Democrats is that Democrats view government as altruistic and just this wonderful force for good. And then they hate Trump. So they say that, you know, resist, but also, you know, trust in government. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much to my super chat. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. And like I said, don't take this. I don't want anyone to take this in the wrong way, you know. But you can do your own research, and believe me, you're already part of a community of people who elected Trump. And I get the whole community thing. I get the, you know, we're all together, we're all one. And see, that's where it becomes dangerous in my view. because you don't know who's telling you all of this. And whereas there are good people who are reiterating this, you don't know where, you don't know what the incentive, the motivation for all of this is. Thank you so very much. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 140,000 subs. And have a fantastic day. I'll see you soon. God bless everyone. Thank you. And again, this is peace and love, peace and love. Just like Ringo. This is Ringo. Like when Ringo Starr doesn't want to sign autographs anymore, he's like, peace and love, no more autographs. Peace and love, no more. Don't send them. If you send them, they will be sent back. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. It's only love, it's only peace. Don't send it anymore. That is peace, 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 love, love, love. Thank you so much.